Welcome in, welcome in. Let's see here. Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. I'm waiting on a few more to join. We're looking forward to this one. So, for those that have never seen me, I restore headlights 6 to 7 times a week to show you guys how to restore your own headlights. Or certainly try and monetize it by using headlights as a way to get your side hustle on, or even, make a full-on switch. Or if you're already in kind of like the detail space, finding a product that actually does work and will actually last, that you could stand behind. So this is a Tacoma headlight we're going to restore. So I'm going to wait just another minute or so, because I know there were some people looking forward to this one, and I just want to give them a minute to jump in. So just going to grab a couple towels. All right. There you are, Pat. All right, guys, this is a late model Toyota Tacoma headlight. We did some newer model headlights, Tacoma headlights last week. I ran across this one. I figured we would do that one as well. So it doesn't really take a whole long time to do this, guys, but I do explain every single thing that I do. So again, I restore headlights. That's what I do. And then on the lives, I show you guys how to do it so that you can really restore your own headlights if you want to, or if you're looking for some extra, income. This is a great thing to do that. So it's no secret, I use the Headlight Magic products. I made that switch a while back. Very pleased with their products. And I follow the process for these particular products. There's many different ways to skin a cat, as they would say. But I do it the Headlight Magic way with this product, and it never fails me. So without further ado, we'll get started. First thing I'm going to do is, since I know this is a Toyota, it's an import, I know that I'm probably only going to have to start at 1,000 grit to get that factory UV coating off and get the rest of the oxidation off. But before we do that, I'm going to grab this lens prep product. And what this is a product that serves two purposes. The first is to remove all of the oxidation that's on here. There's some yellowing, but it's also going to soften that Toyota factory UV coating, because again, I hand sand. I do not use any power to sand. So it softens that factory UV coating. So the first thing we're going to do is take our Headlight Magic eraser, get it wet. You can reuse these over and over and over again, really until they fall apart. And then what I want to do is take, what's up, William? Then what I want to do is take the lens prep product and run it right down the middle of the Magic eraser, and then go straight to the headlight with it. Now this will obviously take off dirt. This will take off oxidation, and again, soften that factory UV coating. But what's also nice about it is the fact that it will kind of give you a sneak peek into the headlight. So that yellow there all has come from this headlight. That's all oxidation that was just removed just by using this Magic eraser. So again, there's a scrubby side, which is this blue side, that I'm going to take to the headlight lens to get, any embedded rocks or bugs or anything that's stuck on here, so that we can restore it. Now, let's give it a nice little wipe down. And you can see it's still pretty foggy. There's a lot of chipping and cracking and peeling. This UV coating is basically gone. So we're going to remove the rest of that and then make this thing look like we just took it out of a box. So I'm going to grab my hand sander, and we're going to start at 1,000 grit. I'm relatively confident that 1,000 grit's going to get through it. I have my 800 on standby just in case. But I'm going to test probably right here first. I would always encourage you to take a little test spot if you're unsure if the grit you're using is actually going to work. And voila, you can see that it's working. You can tell it's working because I don't know if you could see on the live the color, but that's like a yellowy kind of orange brown color. And that's that UV coating coming off. And so I can move forward. And now what I'm looking for is to get all of that yellowy brown color off and basically have that color change from that yellowy brown to a milky white. That milky white represents fresh plastic. That lets me know I'm cutting into fresh plastic. So it's really heavy yellow up top here. Let's see if I can get some on this. I don't know if you could see that really good, but that's the color I'm looking at, right? That's the failed UV coating and residual oxidation that's on there. And I want that all to turn milky white. And again, that's because it'll let me know that I'm in fresh plastic. So I always do the sanding discs at least twice per grit, never any less than twice. Sometimes it does take a few more than that. But if you just always did it twice, you know, it would serve you the best. So again, I want to make sure that we're cutting through this. I'm using light pressure on these first on this first set of sanding discs. And again, I'm using silicone carbide sanding discs. That's the only thing you should be using to sand headlights. Now, that color is still the same. So I'm still cutting through some of that failed UV coating. And actually, some of it's not cutting at all. So what I'm probably going to do is wipe it down. Well, that color's already changed. So I do have some white in there. So we're going to keep going at 1,000. And so after I get that color to change like I want, the next thing I'm looking for is a nice even matte finish haze across the whole headlight. That's exactly what I want to see. So again, I'm always going to rinse this off before I go back to the headlight, just to make sure I don't pick up anything that's going to further damage the headlight when I'm sanding. And so again, I'm just using very minimal pressure on this. And I think the bottom of this probably needs some more love. And so I was kind of afraid of it, but we're going to switch course and I'm going to drop down to 800 because I just am not able to cut through that at the bottom here. So sometimes that's why you want to do a test. Again, it worked here, but down here I'm still having some issues. So we're going to just kind of redo that. But I'm going to start at 800 and that will get through it all the way on this lens. So that's already feels much better. And I can tell that I'm getting through whatever's left on there. So I like to sand side to side and up and down. I do not sand in circles because like I always say, I feel like when I apply that ceramic, those circular scratches in the headlight become a little bit more prominent. Now see that sanding handle, how that's like a milky white? So now I know that I'm in fresh plastic across the whole face of this headlight, which is absolutely what we want to see. So I'm going to do it one more time. Let's see if there's any questions here. I see people spraying glass cleaner on the headlight before hitting it with lens prep. Thoughts? It'll work either way, Pat. I just use water because that's just usually what I do. But you definitely want you definitely want the Magic Eraser wet for sure. And I just have always historically used water. Is it in the higher the number, the grit, the sandpaper, or opposite? So, Isaac, the higher number is the lower. What's the best way to explain this? So the lower you go in number, the sharper the sanding disc is. The higher you go, the less sharp it is, if that makes sense. So if you have something that's really, really tough to get through, you might have to go all the way down to like 240, 320, something like that. So you'll go real, real low, and that's going to be your stronger silicone carbide sanding disc. The higher you go is basically the pads that you, or the disc that you use to sand up. So like, for instance, I'm starting at 800. I'm going to do 800 and then I'm going to go back to 1,000 and then I'm going to go to 2,000. So I'm going to increase, and that just smooths out all of the scratches and all of the things that the previous sanding disc left. So I hope that answers your question. No, this is just plain water, guys. So when I do these on live on the table here, I use water. When I'm at a vehicle and I'm restoring it and the lights are installed in the vehicle, I'm going to use Sprayway, the ammonia free, because it foams up and it doesn't run down the face of the headlight like this does. Water just makes a huge mess. So we'll get back to this and I'll get to some more questions here in just a minute. So again, side to side, up and down. And in these first couple stages, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to change that water color, and I'm looking for a nice, even, matte finish across the whole face of this headlight. And then I know I can move on. It's virtually the same process moving forward, but then there's a different feeling that I'm looking for as I go up. So we'll clean that up, wipe this down. I'm going to grab another 1000 grit disc, and we're going to go back up. So we started at 800. Now I'm going to jump back up to 1,000. I would reuse that, but this kind of chewed through that one because it was so thick. So just to be sure, I'm going to still keep it, but just to be sure, I'm going to grab a fresh one. And now we're going to go in at 1,000. So as I mentioned, that first sanding disc serves two purposes. Change the color of the fluid that comes off the face of the headlight from like that browny yellow color to a milky white, but then also to get a nice even haze across the whole front end, the face of this headlight. As you increase your grit, what I'm looking for is the sensation that this sanding disc gives me when I'm working it on the headlight. So it kind of bites, it's rough at first, but as you keep going, it's going to give you the sensation that it's more or less sliding on glass. So I'm going to sand until I get this thing to pass what I call the 2-finger test, which is basically me holding this with 2 fingers like so. Either, pointer finger, thumb and middle finger, whatever, just 2 fingers. And I'm just setting it on here. I'm not using any pressure on these levels of sanding disc. I'm literally just sliding it back and forth, and it's still kind of biting, so it's not passing that. As soon as it starts to pass, you'll know, because this thing will just glide across here like it's on glass. So again, you always want to do at least 2 passes. Sometimes it might take 3 or 4, but again, no less than 2. Let me check here. It will yellow again within 1 year. 3H1, incorrect. Better to clear over. No, I'm using a ceramic with UV coating that will last, and I warranty for 3 years. Let's see here. So Caden, I started at 1,000. That didn't cut through. I dropped down to 800. That cut it. Now I'm back up to 1,000. Jay Peters, I'm using Headlight Magic stuff. I'll drop the promo code and stuff on the top of the live here shortly. Lower is coarse, higher the number, the finer. That's the easiest way. Thank you guys all for chipping in on the chat. What happens when you burn through them? When I burn through what, McGuckin? Let's see here. All right, we'll get back to it. So again, these things inevitably end up on their face, which is why every single time it's good to get in the habit of rinsing these off to make sure you don't pick up fine pieces of sand, dirt, or anything that you take back to this headlight and then cause yourself inadvertent issues on the back end. You have to drop back down and sand through the scratches that you created. So again, 2-finger test here. We're almost there. I'm not using any pressure. I'm literally just letting this thing, just kind of guiding it around and letting it do its thing. So at 1,000 grit, it's not going to be 2 passes, unfortunately, and that's totally fine. But again, I want to make sure this thing is absolutely pristine when I'm done with it. Because again, I warranty these for 3 years. So I want to make sure that when I'm done, I don't have any issues on the back end. So wash, rinse, repeat. Do the same thing. And I'll bet you on this pass, yep, 2-finger test. We're gliding on here like it's on glass, which is exactly the sensation I'm looking for. And then I know at that point, the sanding disc is not cutting anymore. It's not doing anything. It's pretty much served its purpose, which is exactly why on these higher grits, you can generally get 2 to 3 sets of headlights out of them because again, you're not forcing it on here, and you're not using a bunch of pressure, so you're not burning through these sanding discs. They're relatively cheap anyways. I buy mine in bulk. They do come with the kits of the product that I use. However, a penny saved is a penny earned. I do this for a living. I'm gonna do it one more time because again, I'm a perfectionist and I want that glass feeling sensation. There we go, across the whole face of this headlight. And so I say all that to say, as soon as you start to increase into the 2, 3, and 4,000 grit range, you may find yourself getting that sliding on glass sensation on the first pass. I'm still going to always be consistent, and I'm never just going to see, again, it slides like it just breezes through it, which again is why I say all the time, at least do 2 passes in different directions, because see, like up top here, it's still biting a little bit. So again, I'm never going to just cut corners and hurry through it. I'm going to always at least do it twice, no matter what it feels like. So we'll wipe it down. Again, wash, rinse, repeat. Actually, let me look here. This thing is blowing up over here. Yes, Isaac, it is. Can you burn through the plastic layer if that makes any sense? Yeah, McGuckin, with power you can. If you use something like this to sand, you absolutely can. This spins so fast. Friction causes heat. Heat equals damage. So that's why you hand sand. So I see a lot of these guys on TikTok that are like, I don't understand why you don't power sand, and you're wasting your time. Well, no, it's because I don't want to damage the headlight, right? I'm there to restore it, not to replace it out of my own pocket. So if you don't have any idea what you're doing, I would never suggest you picking up a sander or a drill to sand using a silicone carbide sanding disc on a polycarbonate material. They will get hot spots. They will burn. You will melt this plastic. It will actually turn black on you if you're not careful. So again, this is the Headlight Magic way. I'm using that product. So this is what works best for this particular product. So we're going to do one more just to be sure. We're almost there, and then we'll jump up to 3,000. Again, this doesn't take very long when I'm not explaining it. So there we go. 2-finger test, pass this direction. 2-finger test, pass that direction. No pressure, just guiding it, and we're all set. So now we can peel that off, and we'll jump up to 3,000. So I got 3,000 and 4,000 left, and that's it. So again, wet the sanding disc, wet the headlight, and this one already feels like it's passing that 2-finger test. But I assure you, if you just do it twice, it'll save you a lot of trouble in the long run. Because what's going to happen is if you use this product and you start skipping grits, or you sell yourself short on your sanding, what's going to happen is you're going to apply that ceramic, and then as soon as that ceramic dries and cures, it's going to be cloudy. It's going to look like garbage, right? So just take my advice, do it twice, and you'll be fine. So that's how quick 3,000 went. 2 passes done. Now we'll jump into 4,000. Same thing. Get it wet and jump in here. Both directions. We're sliding on glass, passing the 2-finger test. I'm sure if you've been with me since this live started, you see a monumental difference in the clarity of this already. We haven't even cut or polished. So that's pass 1. Rinse this off and we'll do pass 2. See what I mean? The reason why you rinse these off is that's a little piece of dirt right there. So if I were to take that back to the headlight, it's going to scratch this. So again, it's very, very important that you clean that off. Thought I'll just show you that because people ask me all the time, why do I clean that off? And that's precisely why. You can pick up stuff from anywhere. And again, you don't want to create scratches in here for no reason. So now we're done at 4,000, guys. Sanding, wet sanding is done. So let me dry this off. Get this table dry, because again, if this were installed in the vehicle, I would use my compressed air gun. Naturally, the body of the Tacoma would surround this headlight, create like a lip here, or a crack. So what I would do, take this, turn it on, run it on the exterior of the headlight, and if need be, dry it off. We're just polishing, but again, I want to make sure it's nice and dry. Even this towel, I don't want to touch it with this towel again because I wet sanded with it and it's soaking wet. So I don't want to take anything back to the headlight now. So now, before I get all the smarty clowns in the chat, I use this to cut and polish. As soon as I bring out this DeWalt drill, everybody's like, oh, this guy's not serious. He doesn't do this. He's using a drill. I use a drill on these lives to show you guys that you don't need a $500 sander and polisher to restore headlights. You can use any old drill. In fact, the kits that I use come with a 3-inch backing plate for a drill. So you can cut and polish with a drill. I would never sand with this, and I would never encourage you to sand with it either. So we'll put the 3-inch backing plate attachment on it, lock it in, and then I'm gonna go right to my synthetic wool cutting pad, right? This is what's gonna remove a little bit more of this haze off of here, right? Because you can still see it's still kind of hazy. So between this and the polishing pad, we're gonna get it in pretty good shape, and then that ceramic is gonna send it over the top. So let me move some of this out of the way here, because we managed to get water everywhere. And let me let that dry for 1 second. McGucket, yes, you can sand too much. Isaac, yes, it's my full-time job. Amazon tells a product that will fix it in 5 minutes. Do better. No, Johnny, it won't. Good luck, though. Thanks for engaging, though. I appreciate it. What's up, Syntex? Yeah, it's the same ones that say use toothpaste and baking soda or use bug spray. Yeah, if you want to tear your stuff up. All right, cool. So I'm using Kosh Chemie Micro Cut. You don't need a heavy cut to do this. Again, in other applications you might, but this you don't. So again, I'm going to go right to the synthetic wool cutting pad with a few little drops on it. Doesn't take very much. A little bit goes a long way. And then so that this doesn't fling everywhere and this isn't too big of a headlight, I'm actually just going to kind of dab it on here so that when I start spinning this, it doesn't fling everywhere. And so this is smaller, so I'm going to have to kind of turn it sideways so I can get in here. Now, it's really important to know that these drills, the only drawback to a drill is the tendency they have to want to kick you off the headlight. In other words, when you're going, it wants to kick off in here. So again, if the vehicle body was here and it kicks off, even though this is synthetic wool, if it's spinning fast enough, it'll still tear up some paint. So again, you want to just be very, very careful. So again, we're done now cutting. I can rip this guy off and I'm going to go right into my foam polishing pad. No need to wipe it off, like I said. And in fact, I'm going to add just a little bit more of the Kosh Chemie to the tip of my finger and then wipe it on there just because, again, like about that much or so. And then come here and just kind of wipe it all over. Anything left on my hands, I just take right to the polishing pad so not to waste it. Now, it's important to know about the difference between this polishing pad and the cutting pad is the friction that this causes. The tendency to want to kick using a polishing pad is far greater than that of this synthetic wool pad. So you want to be very, very careful. If you are using a drill to restore headlights, you can use, if the headlights are installed in the vehicle, you can use 2 hands to guide it. That is much easier, but I can't let this light go or else it will fling it across the basement. Now, I know you guys can already tell because I can. I haven't even wiped this thing down and it looks great already. So, really, really important that you not throw it away, but get another fresh, clean towel because I don't want anything on this headlight. Let me check these here. I'm going to take my ammonia-free sprayway. Do not use a Windex with ammonia in it. I use this because it foams, and when I'm wet sanding, it doesn't run everywhere, but it's also a fantastic glass cleaner. Certainly what it is, right? So, put a nice little amount on the headlight here. Clean towel. We're going to wipe it all the way off. We want it nice and dry. And so look, this is, as I always would say, where the majority of the folks that restore headlights would get you to this point because that's clear, and say you're good to go. And this is where this product is just getting started. So let me walk on the other side here and we'll put some ceramic on this, and I'll add that link to the top of the page and answer any questions. So I need to grab some ceramic. Now, all these kits come with everything you need, from the pads to the attachments to the applicator pads. So this is the lens prep magic eraser, and then we use the lint-free non-woven gauze applicator pads to apply the ceramic. Now, a couple things about the ceramic. For all the naysayers in the room, let me just highlight a few things here. Right here at the bottom, come on, focus on me, there we go. For use on polycarbonate headlights. I pull in a lot of detail, guys and gals. This is not an all-in-one ceramic. This does not belong on glass, nor does it belong on the body of the vehicle. Again, it's made for polycarbonate headlights. This is one of the only ceramics with UV protection that will last for 3 years, that will protect this headlight as soon as I apply it for 3 years. Every customer that I restore, they get a 3-year warranty from me against fading, peeling, cracking, oxidation, or yellowing. And so it's never been a problem. So let's talk about this pad. This is how we're going to apply it. We're going to take this gauze applicator pad, fold it in half, fold it in half again. Naturally, that creates this little crease or this little fold here. Right down this line here is where I'm going to put my ceramic. Now, it's really important to know, let me put this board up here. It's really important to know that in addition to the fact that this ceramic is made specifically for headlights, in addition to the fact that it will last for 3 years, it's also a self-leveling ceramic, so you do not have to overwork it. Also, when we go back to the headlight, there is no reason, there's that link and promo code. When we get this full of ceramic and we go to the headlight, it's really important that we don't smash it on the headlight and work it. We literally just want to wipe it. Now, I get asked all the time, I'm going to try and use the very last few drops of this bottle that I have, but I do have a new one. It's very important that you get this thing wet. You just don't get it dripping wet, right? If you're left with streaks after you apply this stuff, that generally means 9 out of 10 times that you didn't have a wet enough applicator pad. So this bottle is about empty, so I'm just trying to get the rest of it out. So now we're wet enough, and we can go over here. So hopefully that headlight is in the picture frame. I'll push it up, or the camera view, and you're going to watch this product come to life. I'm going to start in the corner here. I'm going to work the exterior of the headlight, down the side, down the bottom, and then I'm going to do overlapping passes back and forth. Now you should be able to see now this headlight is waking up. This right here is exactly why I can offer a 3-year warranty like nothing else in the marketplace. I've used the majority of it. I can speak on it. I've been in plastics since 2014, so I know my way around plastics. I know what works, what doesn't work. But if I just told you guys that I took that out of a box and you hadn't just sat here and watched me the last 25 minutes do this, you would think that was a brand new headlight. What do we think, chat? I'm going to walk to the back side of this camera here so I can answer questions. So give me 1 second. So what do we think, chat? So again, this is the Headlight Magic system, headlightmagic.com. Everything is back in stock, guys, with the exception of the DIY kit. That's coming, but all the other kits are available. Everything else is available. Everything is back at full price now. So headlightmagic.com. If you use that Headlight Boost promo code, that'll save you 10% off anything you purchase. Let's see here. Johnny says it looks like, yeah, right, dude. Thank you, Black. I feel confident enough to buy my own now, to do my own now. Absolutely, Dirk Easy. How much do you charge? Alejandro, so I'm in Denver. I'm generally around $199. And again, that comes for, that's travel. That's me coming to see you. That's the restoration, and that's a 3-year warranty after. Sauce Boss, absolutely. Yes, I literally saw you just took it out of the box. I appreciate you, buddy. Do you need to take off? Do you need to take it to the 4K wet sand? Yes. For this product, yes. It's also important to note, using this product, what I've learned is on other products, you can kind of jump around on your grits. On this one, probably 80, I don't know, 85 to 90% of the vehicles that you do are only going to use these 4 silicone carbide sanding discs. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, and finish at 4. Other products, you could start at, 800, jump up to 1,500, then do 3,000, and then 5,000. There's no need to do that with this product. Again, the bulk of your restorations are going to be with these 4 grits right here. The anomalies are your American-made cars. Just so we all know when we're all on the same page, if you didn't know, American-made cars, so your Fords, Dodge, Chevy, GMC, all of those, the factory UV coating that comes on their OEM headlights is much thicker and is much harder to get through than that of imports. So when I say imports, I'm talking Honda, Toyota, Nissan, Mitsubishi, Subaru, Lexus, Acura, all of those. The factory UV coating is much softer, which makes it easier to hand sand, which is also the other reason why you want to get yourself a lens prep product. And this is a good one. Again, this removes all of the oxidation and softens whatever factory UV coating is on there to make it much easier to hand sand. How much is it? So black, it depends. There's several different packages. Hang on, let me get back up here. Several different kits. There's a starter kit that gives you everything you need to do 10 sets of headlights. There's a pro kit, which is what I've got here on the table, that gives you everything you need to do 50 sets of headlights. So literally whatever kit you buy, all you'd have to get is, let me grab it. You'd have to get yourself some microfiber towels, either a $2 bottle, a $2 squirt bottle like this, or a can of this, and then painter's tape, right? Because you want to tape off around the headlight. So everything you need: sanding disc, attachments, pads, chemicals, all of it. After sanding and polishing, if you still see some scratches, ceramic is going to cover up a good portion, some of it, yes. Deep scratches, no. Generally what it's going to cover up is whatever the 400 grit sanding disc left that the synthetic wool cutting pad didn't. It'll mask it up, because again, if you guys have been with me long enough tonight, you saw this was still pretty hazy at the end of it, right? But then now that ceramic UV coating makes this thing pop. Like, again, we just took it out of a box, right? There's no haze, no streaking. I mean, it looks perfect. It looks brand new. Do you use glass cleaner as you sand it? So A13, yes. When they are installed in the vehicle, yes. Because I use it to sand. I use this to sand when they're installed in the vehicle, because water always has the tendency, as you're working it, it'll drip down the face of the headlight and in turn drip down the front end of the vehicle. So now the bumper's all dirty. This doesn't do that. You might get a little bit of drip, but nothing like water does. So I prefer to sand with this. It's a fantastic lubricant for wet sanding, especially on these polycarbonate headlights. So absolutely. $199. This guy's got to go. Okay. I'm going to try this out now. This looked doable. Isaac, absolutely. And if you have any questions, send me a direct message. I'm happy to answer anything I can. I do go live 6 to 7 times a week, and I'm just doing this, showing you guys how to do it on your own. Could you send me a step-by-step? I really want to learn, please. Sal, yeah, send me a direct message. Mod me, and I'll block the keyboard warriors. Let's see here. There you go, Pat. I appreciate that. Thank you for the roses, Sauce. Thank you, Pat. Let's see here. Yeah, Luis, for sure. They wear me out. Does it come with 800 grit, or was that the one you personally had on hand? So, Isaac, yes, it comes. And in fact, I was just informed from the Headlight Magic guys that they're dropping 240s all the way to 4,000s in their kit now. And what the other thing I didn't talk about is the Pro Kit. Let's talk about the Pro Kit for a minute. If you want to take this as a side hustle or a job opportunity, when I say it comes with everything, it comes with everything, right? So your attachments, 3-inch backing plate for your drill if you want to use a drill, hand sander, polishing pads, synthetic wool cutting pad, silicone carbide sanding disc from as low as 240 all the way up to 4,000. Your chemicals, so your ceramic, your lens prep. It also comes with a bottle of liquid glove, which is a lotion you put on so you don't have to wear these nitrile gloves. Also comes in a bottle with the newly released Headlight Magic polish and compound. So again, instead of using like a Kosh Chemi, it now comes with the Pro Kit. So again, truly everything you need, all you have to do is buy something to sand with, so like preferably a glass cleaner, some microfiber towels, and some tape. I carry 1-inch and 2-inch just to be safe. So really, that's all you have to get in addition to this stuff, because everything else is in the box. So I'm getting some questions. Yes, you guys can buy just the lens prep if you've got it. Again, that promo code right there will save you 10% on whatever you buy. So whether it's just the lens prep, just the ceramic, they also make a combo kit just for the chemicals. If you've got everything else, you can just get the chemicals. That's really and truly what sets this product apart from everything else. Is not so much all the attachments and everything. It's these two things right here. So yes. Hey, I bought a Pro Kit. Normally, how long does it take? So depending on when you bought it, I believe if you purchased it July 22nd or after, there was basically a disclaimer there that they were on pre-order and they would start shipping the 2nd. So they started going in order Sunday, in order based on the orders that they came in. So they're going out now because everything is back in stock. Everything is ready to rock. So they're fulfilling orders and shipping them now. Is the hand sander back in stock with the Pro Kit? Wonder what's next? Yes, it is. For those thicker coatings, do you go down to like 240 or 320? So sauce, yes, I carry one. What did I just get? I'll show you. I ran out, but I don't want to lie to you. So let me just grab this and I'll show you in live time. Bear with me here. So I got, this is 240 coming. And I also got one, what did I get? 180. So I'm down to now 180 on that. So yes, 180 is as low as I carry. It was 320 for a long time, but I put out a video this weekend showing that I do this, and it was on a Dodge Durango. And that Dodge Durango kicked my behind. So let's segue into that for a minute. If you're thinking about doing this and you want practice, I would strongly suggest you getting your import cars done, probably 10 to 15 of them before you start messing with American-made cars. Because when I say that those UV coatings from the American-made cars fail, they fail, and it is a nightmare to get through. So I averaged 54 minutes across all my jobs. I was there for an hour and 37 minutes getting 2 headlights done because that 03 Dodge Durango headlight was so bad that I went through like 6 320 grit sanding discs to get through it, and that's not normal. I should have just gone down lower and just sped it up, but I didn't have any on me. I was out. So I just got some more. For those sticker coating, okay, so Pat, thank you. Brought my Pro Kit last Friday. So yeah, again, August 2nd was the beginning of the anticipated first ship date, and they started shipping on August the 2nd. So hang tight, it'll come to you. I know it will. Question, the prep time for delivery, is it really 72 hours? No. Wonder what's next? Absolutely not. So we didn't talk about post-care, so let's cover that now. After you apply your ceramic, let me digress. If you apply ceramic and you notice streaks in it or you have messed it up somehow, you've got about 30 to 45 seconds to grab your sprayway, spray it on there, and wipe it off and reapply it. Now, after you're happy with the application of the ceramic, it really needs to dry for about a minute to two. Do not touch it because it will take thumbprints and fingerprints and even glove prints and leave it on there. So just don't touch it for like the first 2 minutes to call it safe. But by the time I'm doing both headlights and the customer pays me, I tell them they can drive immediately. The only thing you want to avoid for the first 48 hours are heavy rain and car washes, right? High pressure car washes will, when it sprays it, it'll just put streak marks in it, right? So then you're going to be stripping that off and redoing it. So again, it's best to avoid heavy rain and car washes for the first 48 hours. 72 hours is overkill. He was talking about the time from the order to time to ship. Like 5 to 7 days. It comes UPS ground is my understanding. Thanks, Pat, for pinning that. I got clients starting to pile up. Let's go, Wonder. If I buy now, how long does it take to get delivered? 5 to 7 days, Jorge. It comes UPS ground. I went all the way down to 80, then 120, 243, 2400. So, Sauce, if my opinion and suggestion matters to you, the 120, 240, 320, 400 doesn't bother me. But from 400 to 1K, you're going to run into some problems at some point. So what I would do is I would add that 600, that 800 to it and keep it moving, right? You don't want to skip the grits that much. Thank you, Jorge. I appreciate you. Too fast, too furious. Yes, sir. What else do we got, guys? Clear beam restorations. Send me that in a message. Wonder what's next, and so I can follow you. So again, if you guys don't follow me now. I don't spam. I just restore headlights. So again, if this is something you're genuinely interested in, you like watching it, you want to do it, you want to learn how to do it, just follow me. And like I said, that's all I do on these lives. I'm live 6 to 7 times a week for usually about an hour, hour and a half. And this is all we're doing. Let's see here. What other questions do we got, guys? Haven't made a TikTok page, but I'll let you know. Waiting for product to start the hustle. It's never too early, brother. Start planting the seed. Start putting out content. Do what you can. So all you guys that are looking to get into this business, I just got these today. 2 of them for $30. This is the Tacoma pickup truck headlight, OEMs. They do have their tabs on them. The backsides are a little dirty, but no one cares about that. But again, this is a great thing to get practice on. So I would go to Facebook Marketplace, search headlights for sale on Facebook Market, go pick some up and start practicing, right? It also goes without me saying too. Oh, let's see here. Can't believe the Glad Cleaner did that. Jellies, I didn't use glass cleaner to restore these, buddy. I wet sanded them all the way from 600 grit all the way to 4,000. I did a cut and polish and then applied ceramic. It goes without saying, all you guys that want to turn this into a side hustle, I certainly support you. I'll answer anything I can, but here's what I want you to be thinking about. The minute your kit comes in, you need to be okay with the idea of exchanging free restorations for no money. And when I say no money, I mean they're not paying you cash. Here's what I want you to focus on. Do 5 to 10 headlights, right? For free. If you get the pro kit, they'll do 50 sets of headlights. Let's just say I can convince you to do 10 of these. What is that going to do? That's going to give you experience. That's going to give you content because you can record your restoration, give you content to be able to push out on social media, and it's going to give you reviews, right? You want well-written, well-thought-out reviews. Reviews spread out over time generally equal thousands of dollars if you're going to take this serious, right? Because as I always say, imagine your own self. You're craving a cheeseburger in a city you've never been to. So you go on Google, Google best cheeseburger near me. Boom, all these places pop up. The first listing has got 1 5-star, and it's 123 Burger Street. And the listing right below it has got 600 5-stars. You tell me which one you're going to. Are you going to the burger chain that's got 1 5-star, or are you going to go to the one that's got 600? I think we all know the answer to that. So again, if you give 10 of these away, remember, you can do 50 sets of headlights. If you give 10 away, simple math says that there's 40 left. Let's just say, for argument's sake, you charge $99 a headlight restoration. Simple math again, guys, would tell me that's $4,000 in generated revenue off 40 sets of headlights, right? So a $380 investment, you get some practice, you get the content, you get the reviews, you now flip that into 4K, you're rolling, Jack. What other questions do we have, guys? I won't keep you too much longer. We banged this one out pretty quick. I'll be live again tomorrow to do the second one of these. And I'm going to pick up a bunch of other ones tomorrow too off Facebook Marketplace. Again, I go through these like crazy. There's like 14 sets of headlights on my basement floor down here. So I go through them. I try not to redo them unless I have to. I think my headlights are past the point of no return. Sue, you would know better than anybody because you see them every day. But I, in my experience, haven't ran across too many that are beyond that, unless they're completely cracked all the way through and moisture is getting in it from the exterior because there's a crack through it or it's busted. All these polycarbonate headlights can be saved. The shiny part is half gone and really yellow. No, that's exactly, Sue, that could be restored. 100%. 1,000% actually. You should have seen this one when we started. So if you're in the Denver metro area, I'm happy to help you. How do I get a refill on my lens prep? So BJ Boston, head up to headlightmagic.com. In the shop, there's a lens prep single product. Use that promo code, boom, right there. That's going to save you 10% off that lens prep. What other questions do we have, guys? In about 2 weeks, guys, the DIY kits are coming out too. So if you're sincerely interested in just restoring your own headlights, hang tight. If that's something you're interested in, send me a direct message right here on TikTok. And as soon as they go live again, they'll notify me and I'll notify you. Because the DIY kit's $50. It'll do 1 set of headlights. But again, it comes with that 3-year protection. So it'll restore them and protect them for the next 3 years. Yes, Pat, thank you for pinning that. That is an absolute fact. I try not to oversell that, but that's an absolute fact. It's gone out of stock twice in less than 30 days. Now there's plenty of them, but again, they move fast because you can only get them on their website. They're not on Amazon. They're not at O'Reilly's or Advanced Auto Parts or Walmart. It's only on the Headlight Magic website. What's the 3 stages of headlight restoration to determine the price? Green, yellow, red? No, so I use a Magic Quotes app. Wonder what's next. And basically what that does is I put in the year, make, model of the vehicle. In the database of this app that I use, it's got all of the OEM and aftermarket replacements for every single make, model, year, and trim level of every car made from 2007 to current. And it'll embed in my quote what aftermarkets and what OEM replacements are, plus labor, and then my cost in the middle of it. So that's how my pricing is born. Ain't that the truth, Pat? It's called Magic Quotes. Send me a direct message and I'll hook you up if that's something you're interested in. Wonder what's next. And normally Headlight Magic will grace me with their presence on my lives. They must just be super busy fulfilling orders. And I don't see him in here because he can talk about that as well. Absolutely wonder what's next. What other questions do we got, guys, before we wrap it up here? Again, hit that follow, smash that follow button, as the kids would say. I only get on here to show you guys a new trade, something else to do to monetize. I won't waste your time. What other questions do we have? One of these days, I'm going to get somebody over from Headlight Magic to go on a live with me so I can just work, and all these questions about the product and stuff, we can keep it moving smoother. I'm in Denver, Colorado. Wonder. Easy side hustle to start everyone. One headlight a week is an extra $400 a month. 100%, Pat. So again, to put that comment in perspective, the Pro Kit that I have on the table here, again, that does 50 cents a headlight. With my average pricing, that's $8,000 in revenue. Right here, sitting on the table. It's not going to be that way for everybody. On the bottom end, you did, Lil Mondo. I start at 7:30, buddy, every time. Heck yeah, Wonder. Let me know how it goes. Here's another little pro tip for you too, Wonder. If you can get your hands on, if you don't already own some, the Meta glasses, I would take my Meta glasses and I would go record you yourself putting out flyers. That's great content. Just pro tip. Absolutely. So again, guys, there's plenty of resources that I've got. You know, you can hit my link tree in my bio. I've got guides on how to step by step how to restore these. I've got guides on how to market, how to get customers. I've got, we do it all. So again, unless there's any more questions, I'll let you guys get. Again, screenshot the screen if you haven't already. If you want to come back to it, it's at headlightmagic.com. Use that promo code Headlight Boost. And again, that's going to save you off. That's going to save you 10% off anything you purchase from the Headlight Magic store. My metas have been sitting for months now. I have a reason to use them again. Yes, sir, Pat. The restoration videos come out great. I just saw that the Meta released a new update on their. I have the Gen 2s, and mine just updated, and now I can do like way longer than 5-minute high def videos. So I'm stoked about that. You're welcome, Wonder. Let me know if I can help. So I'll let you guys get to it. We're starting to wind down here. Again, thank you so much for spending your Tuesday evening with me. I'll be live again tomorrow, Wednesday at 7:30 Mountain Standard Time. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Oh, dang, I could only do 2 minutes. Yeah, so Pat, if you do that upload or that new download that they did, you can extend that, go into your settings and extend that record time to I think like 10 or 15 minutes. It's like a long time now. You could almost bang out a whole restoration in one recording sesh. Absolutely. All right, guys, until next time, cheers. Message me if you have any questions. Headlightmagic.com, promo code Headlight Boost, and we will see you on the flip. Enjoy your evening. Thanks so much. Blinky light still present. Pat, don't tell anybody, but I made mine Ninja, and the update that they dropped that was supposed to prevent that being able to record didn't work on mine. So mine are Ninja. They don't flash when they record, but the update didn't fix mine, so I can still record. Thank you, Syntex. I appreciate you. Until next time, guys. Cheers.